Starting now through the first few months of 2025, our masculine and our feminine, we're changing the direction of our ride and how those two energies work together. Whether that's your internal masculine and feminine, your external masculine and feminine with a partner or your friends within those more intimate spaces. Right now, we're in sort of a switch up, okay? Mars retrograde is asking our masculine to sit and to heal, to recover, and the feminine is having to, in that space, step up, create as necessary, unbind itself a little bit from maybe some of the priorities that the masculine has been sitting in so that the masculine can rest. Mars retrogrades, with how the retrograde of Mars and Venus is working this time around, Mars retrograde is asking that the feminine steps up into more of a leadership position, is really asking the feminine to become the leader that it needs. Also, how is your feminine giving seeds? Creation is different, whether you're in the masculine or the feminine. So the offering of a small gesture that could turn into something larger. That's kind of what I mean by a seed too, is it's a small thing that if nurtured, it can grow into something large. True, especially right now, Jupiter's retrograde also, so, clock it. So that's while Mars is retrograde. And then we have a Venus retrograde coming up. And Mars retrogrades and Venus retrogrades, they don't happen that often. Mars is about every 2 years. Venus is about every 18 months. So we have a kind of a back-to-back. Mars retrograde, very much about the masculine resetting itself, reprioritizing the healing, recovering, harvest work. Venus retrograde is a time that is associated with drought. We're resting, we're recovering in the feminine. We're not really allowing ourselves to receive very much because we need a boundary so that the feminine reception is not completely just an open channel. Receiving all the time and constantly is really exhausting, okay? So within that Venus retrograde, the feminine's going to have time to really figure out what about the reception that I've been in for the previous 18 months has allowed me to receive what I want, more of the positive, not receive what I want, what has maybe been painful or harmful, what do I need to filter out of my reception process. And that Venus retrograde also happens over the eclipse season. That's in March. Oh my gosh. Our next eclipse season, all of next year is about to be crazy, to be honest with you, but that next eclipse season, for anyone who is walking blind right now, be kind to yourself because next eclipse season has a lot of answers, all right? Be patient, be diligent, just keep doing what you need to. So if you're someone who works with masculine and feminine energies, again, whether that be interpersonal or within your relationships, then take your time over these retrogrades of Mars and of Venus to take the time to heal the feminine and the masculine and feel through things and restructure and reorder. Retrogrades are also times of binding. So the way that we go about restructuring and reordering the processes of giving and receiving, the reception filters and the harvesting filters, how we harvest, what we harvest, is it healing, those sorts of stuff within masculine and feminine. The way that we practice those retrogrades of Mars and Venus, it binds up the feminine in Venus retrograde, and then the masculine with Mars retrograde. It binds up those energies so that for the next 2 years with Mars, the next 18 months with Venus, we have our receiving filters with Venus, we have our worth with Venus. It's then we're able to set forward. With Mars, it'll be more about those structures and priorities and kind of our battlefronts and how we protect those and guard our position as well. Identifying enemies is a part of that too. And this is especially important because we're coming out of a South Node in Libra, which is ruled by Venus. So we've been doing a lot of work since Venus was last retrograde. We've been doing a lot of healing work, a lot of justice, a lot of balance work. So this is going to be a really, really big, impactful Venus retrograde that's coming up in 2025. And it's over in eclipse season when the lunar nodes are switched out of Libra and they're going to be in Pisces and Virgo now. So more on that later, but just some bigger perspective on placements. Rest over the next several months to digest is going to be prioritize that for yourself. If anything simple that you're able to TLDR, okay? If anything simple you can take from this video, rest and digest and balance your masculine and feminine. And if you do that, 2025 through 2026 becomes an easy ride. The relationships between masculine and feminine are far easier to navigate and probably are going to be elevating, more maturing, productive, constructive, rather than it being deconstructive, which is a lot of the work that we've been doing with the South Node in Libra coming out of the South Node in Scorpio. So these moments of Mars retrograde and Venus retrograde, this is really the turnaround for masculine and feminine energy, where we've been kind of in this back and forth of, do we fight with one another? What are we really worth? We're like figuring out how to have that relationship, and it's been kind of dissonant. But this Mars retrograde and Venus retrograde offer us the opportunity so that the relationship between masculine and feminine can be in harmony. It can be in harmony. I don't know about you, but I know about me, and that sounds pretty great. A harmonious masculine-feminine relationship. Protective is what that is. Directive is what that is. When you can sit in love and create love internally, and then you walk the path of love, that path of love is called union. Congratulations. So that's what we're really in preparation for. That's really what we're in preparation for throughout these retrogrades. Okay, that's enough yapping for this video. Gratitude, reverence, and love to you. Keep doing what you need to do. Keep up your brew. And may the reordering and reprioritizing and the healing of those masculine and feminine through the next couple of months be pretty easy for you to navigate. That's true. Mars is retrograde now. It goes direct on February 24th. Venus goes retrograde on March 2nd. I can only kind of see my calendar from this spot on my couch. Sometime in mid-April is when Venus goes direct. In this moment, I cannot see the specific date, but just a general regard for that time frame. Cool. I'll talk to you soon. Love to you. That's true.